Yo, what's up fam? I'm back with part 3 of What If Naruto Was Neglected Before Getting the Training He Deserves. Honestly, this fanfic is funny as a bitch. The Sasuke bashing and his arrogance is something else, and we didn't even get into the council bashing yet. Like goal is 6 likes, but if we get more that would be nice. So let's get into this video. Naruto was laying down on top of the monument of the Yondaime with many thoughts running through his head. He was pissed at his emo teammate, and happy about the news he received. -2 hours ago. Team 7 was in the Hokage giving reports about the mission. Kakashi was worried through the whole trip back. Naruto hadn't said a word to him or Sasuke, but would have casual conversation with Sakura. He even let Naruto have all the weapons from the bandits Sasuke defeated as punishment for the Uchiha's action towards Sakura. And speaking of said girl, Sakura's feelings for the two boys had done a 180, or should he said 200. While she never really hated Naruto, she was now reliant for the blonde, looking at him in a new light after his past actions. Naruto protecting her was a real eye-opener for her, and now she had a crush on Naruto or something more. As for Sasuke, Sakura had complete disdain for the boy. She couldn't even say his name without lacing it with venom. He was wondering if he could get them to work together for the Chunin exams in a few months. After finishing explaining about the mission, Kakashi was eyeing his leader to see his reaction, and as expected he was pissed. I see, for Sasuke Uchiha punishment, half of his mission pay will go towards Sakura Haruno. Hiruzen declared, making seethed. You can't do that. But the Uchiha was cut off by high killer intent. You better watch how you speak to me, boy. You may have the council under your feet but not I, when I say something. You listen am. I, clear. Sasuke nodded his head weakly from the pressure of the key. Good, now Team 7 you are dismissed, except for you Naruto. I believe we have a promise to fulfill. Kakashi and the emo proceeded to leave, but Sakura stayed holding Naruto's hand tightly. Naruto figured this would happen, signing he turned his attention towards the Hokage. Gigi, is it okay if Sakura stays? I don't mind her listening, Naruto asked, surprising Hiruzen and Sakura. Are you sure, Naruto-kun? I understand this is personnel for you. Sakura looked at Naruto with a guilty look. Whatever they were about to talk about was a private matter, and she was feeling bad being here. It's okay, Naruto-kun, I don't have to be here. I'll just. It's fine, Sakura-chan, I trust you. After all, we're friends now, and I was going to tell you anyway. Naruto said, giving her one of his warm smiles, causing the girl to blush. Alright, if you insist. Now as a promise I will tell you about your mother. Sakura whipped her head towards the Hokage and back at Naruto, seeing a little excitement from his eyes. Your mother is not originally from this village, she's from Uzu just like the rest of your clan. But she was the sole survivor. Your mom was most likely the strongest female in the village next to Tsunade. Her name was Kushina Uzumaki, she was feared for her Fuinjutsu and Kenjutsu. She had as much chakra as you and unlimited stamina. In the village, she was known as the Red Habanero for her fiery personality and red hair. But on the battlefield, she was known as the Red Death of Konoha. And just so you know, she and your father loved you very much, the Sandaime finished. Naruto gave a real smile with tears coming out his eyes. He was glad he was loved and wanted. He also found it pretty awesome to be in a clan. Sakura smiled for her new friend, and gave him a warm hug, which was returned. And my father? Naruto asked, letting go of Sakura to the girl's dismay. I'm sorry, Naruto, but on your father's orders, I was told not to give you any information regarding him until you reach Chunin. Also Sakura, this is a S-class secret, so only Naruto and I are allowed to share this information, understand? Sakura nodded. He turned his attention to Naruto and signed. Present time. Naruto still hasn't confronted the Uchiha about his action, and it wasn't helping that a certain fox was telling him to kill the emo, which he was considering. While he was in thought, he didn't notice a shadow approaching him with a seductive grin. "Well, there you are, Foxy-kun. I'm glad I caught you alone." Before Naruto could get up, he was straddled by Anko. "Anko-chan, what are you doing here? Not that I don't miss you. I was looking to ask you something, but the look on your face tells me you're upset." "Want to talk about it?" Anko asked in concern. Naruto signs and begins to explain what took place on the mission. Anko was quiet for a while, processing what she heard, then started leaking killer intent. "So the emo prick thinks everyone is beneath and should be sacrificed for his cause. Well, I bet your precious Anko-chan can change his mind. Don't bother. If you touch him, the council of douchebags will be up your ass. And frankly, it's not worth it." "True. Those Uchiha ass-kissers will do anything for their emo overlord," Anko said, but remember what she came for. Looking at Naruto still in a bad mood, she decided to do something about it. While straddling the blonde, she slowly started to grate her hip against his crotch, making Naruto blush. "Hey Anko-chan, what are you? Ha, what's the matter? Ha, don't you like your sexy Anko-chan?" Anko moans, happy that her plan was working, while feeling happy her favorite blonde was enjoying this. She started to go faster, while gasping for air. Naruto was getting turned on and grabbed Anko's hips to help her. He didn't know why this was happening but wasn't complaining. As Anko moved her hips, she felt something poked her entrance, through her panties, and smiled seductively. "Someone's happy, but let's finish this." She kept going until both of them buckled their hips, moaning in sync, releasing their pent-up energy. The both were gasping for air, breathing lightly, staring into each other's eyes warmly. "Anko-chan, not that I didn't enjoy it, but why?" Naruto asked, regaining his breath. "Because for one, it was hot," Naruto nodded in agreement. "2. You were stressed, so this the only way I can come up with." Anko paused for a moment and bent down and gave him a small kiss, causing both of them to blush. 3. I'll like you and was wondering if you wanted to go on a date with me. After 2 months of knowing you, I realized you were the only one who understood me. You treated me with respect and not like an outcast. Plus you're not uptight like most ninja, you value all your friends, and I also like that prankster side of you. We're the same, hated, scorned and branded with a seal we didn't want. I feel safe with you. I feel like I can understand you as much as you can understand me. I never felt this way before, so when I talked to Kurenai, she said I loved you. I'm not sure if it's true, but I would like to give it a try, so what do you say?" Naruto looked up into Anko's eyes and saw the desperation. He couldn't believe an older woman liked him and asked him on a date nonetheless. He thought about and couldn't come up with a reason not to, especially since out of everyone in the village, Anko was the one who understood him the most but still wasn't sure. "Go for it, kid, trust me," Kuruma said out of the blue. Naruto turned to Anko, giving her a sincere smile. "Sure Anko-chan, why not? After all, I kinda like you a bit," Naruto answered. Anko squealed in joy and grabbed Naruto by the collar and gave him a deep, passionate kiss. Naruto faced heat up and his brain was melting. Anko pulled a ways with a trail of drool connecting their mouths. Great. She then grabbed Naruto's hand and jumped off the mountain, both screaming in joy while falling towards the ground. Once they landed, the older Kunoichi proceeded to drag him through the village in the direction of the dango shop. The village glared at the two, but the two were enjoying selves to notice. Dango shop. Anko and Naruto were eating a whole plate of fruit dangos, while chatting about the mission. Well, Anko was eating the dangos and Naruto was feeding her. "So Foxy-kun, Tell me what went wrong with the mission. From your training, killing a few bandits should have been a walk in a park. It was easy, until the Uchiha decided to abandon the mission to boost his ego, and by exposing himself, almost got killed by a shinobi hiding among the bandits. Tem then fought him and lost, but wait, it gets worse. Naruto began leaking ki. He decided to substitute with Sakura-chan, and when I confronted him, you know what he said. Naruto yelled, scaring everyone in the shop. Flashback. Team 7 was taking a break from their mission, a few miles from the bandit camp. But things weren't going smoothly for the team, since Naruto had Sasuke pinned against a tree by his collar. Sasuke was glaring at the blonde, which was being returned tenfolds. Why? Why would you sacrifice Sakura-chan's life like that? Sasuke snorted. Why would you ask such a simple question? Because you tried to save me during the wave mission from Haku, but yet you almost killed Sakura-chan, the girl who devoted herself to you, no matter how you treat her. Because she's useless dead weight, I don't give a damn about her feelings. It's not my fault she likes me, and if she does, she should feel honored to die for me. After all, I'm an elite. And for the reason I save is to keep you alive until I surpass my brother. You might not have noticed, but I was conscious when you beat Haku. Your power was dark and hatred. You showed me my brother was right, and I kept you alive to test myself against you, and when I almost died, I realized that I sacrificed my goal for nobody. Me, an elite. If I can overcome your hatred with my own, I will be one step closer to beating my brother. As for Sakura, she can die for all I care. Naruto's eyes started flashing red, his teeth sharpened and grip tightened. You bastard, Sakura is a living being, she is your equal. Do not compare me, an elite, to a useless expendable fangirl. I'm her better and superior, she's nothing but dead weight. Naruto cocked his fist back and got ready to punch the Uchiha, until Kakashi grabbed his arm. Naruto, calm down, I'll handle this when we get back to the village. Kakashi ordered, but was shook a bit when he noticed Naruto's eyes. Fine, but keep me and Sakura-chan away from the High Uchiha, Naruto said, tossing Sasuke to the ground and going to sit by Sakura. End of flashback. Enko gritted her teeth after hearing the story. She never really was a fan of the Uchiha. He got everything on a silver platter while Naruto suffered, and the worst part, he refused love and acceptance from the village, the very thing she and Naruto wanted. The spoiled prick, I'm shocked you didn't kill him. If it was me, I would have had torture him myself. Enko said. But if you did, the ass-kissing council would have never let you get away with. Naruto said, getting a nod to Enko. I know, they would do anything for their little precious Uchiha. Anyway, now after listening to that, I need to vent. So Forest of Death for a little spar. Naruto smiled and nodded. He paid for the dangos, which Enko thanks by pecking him on the cheek and shunching away. Minus 30 minutes later. Enko was jumping from tree to tree, dodging shuriken backpack to back. She landed on a tree, then blocked an axe kick from Naruto and grabbed his leg. She pulled him forward, then punched him in the face, causing him to turn to smoke. A bushin'. Enko looked around and was impressed she couldn't find him. She soon sensed a presence and turned to see Naruto leaping towards and delivering a roundhouse kick. Enko ducked, but Naruto didn't give up. He threw a punch. Enko tilted her head, causing the punch to miss. And kneed Naruto, which he grabbed and used it to leap away and ran back toward Enko and went in for a high kick. Enko stepped back to avoid. Enko snaked around Naruto by going under the branch and get behind, and kicked him off the tree branch, but as she witnessed him falling, she was surprised when he turned to smoke. Before she could turn around, she felt something kick her into the back and flew into a trunk of a tree. After getting her head together, she looked up to see a huge fireball heading towards her. She rolled forward to dodge and the fireball hit the tree behind her. Not bad, Foxy-kun, but it's not over yet. Naruto smirked. Then he noticed the tree behind Enko beginning to fall and she was in its path. Hubby-chan, look out. Anko looked and closed her eyes. Naruto leapt and went through some hand signs. Mokudo. Seihin. A couple of woodbines appeared in front of Anko, wrapping around the trunk of the tree, protecting Anko from the impact. Anko opened her eyes and widened what she was seeing. There was a tree inches from her face, but the shocking part was the trunk of the tree was being restrained by wood-like veins coming out the ground. Naruto landed in front of her, and grabbed her hands. Are you okay? Anko snapped out her dazed and looked at Naruto. Naruto-kun, you have the wood release. Naruto signed and nodded. Yes, Kurama said have the blood of the Senju and he awoke it a while ago, using his chakra as enhancer. Who's Kurama? Naruto pointed at his stomach. Oh, anyway congrats on the bloodline and all, even though it's an inconvenience. Anko said, sitting down on the tree, hugging her legs. Naruto cocked his head to the side in confusion and sat next to her. What do you mean? Well, once people find out you have the ability of the Shodai, you will be put into the CRA, which means I have to share. Well, what if I refuse? Naruto offered, causing Anko to look at him in shock. Are you crazy? Why would you turn a chance to have a harem to yourself? Most guys would jump at the opportunity. Anko asked. Naruto gave her a warm smile and held her hands in his. Because of you, you're the first person to confess to me. You understand me well and just like you, I want people to love me for me, and not want me for a breeding stock. Naruto answered. Anko stared at the boy in front and was amazed at how big his heart was. There was someone who genuinely cared for her and would have her over countless women. Anko grabbed Naruto by his collar and pulled him into a kiss, no tongue, but it was deep and filled with a lot of emotion. After a few minutes, she pulled away from the crimson-red Naruto. Anko gave the blonde a real smile, making Naruto blush harder. I'm definitely falling for you, and thank you. But sadly you won't have a choice. Well, if I don't have a choice, then how about I let you choose the other girls I'm with? Will that make you feel better? You're really going out for me and it makes me happy. I'll accept the offer and one more thing. She pulled Naruto into another kiss, but this one was quick. That's for saving and thinking about my feelings, Anko said, leaning her head against Naruto. Both enjoy each other's company. Yamanaka's shop. Ino was sitting at the counter, reading a magazine since it was a slow day. She was looking for tips to improve her look to attract a certain Uchiha, while daydreaming about marrying him. But she was snapped out of her thoughts when she heard the door open. She looked up to see Sakura walking in with a depressed look. What are you doing here, forehead? Ino. Sakura started, getting a surprised look from Ino, since she didn't call her pig. She looked into Sakura's eyes. She saw anger and determination. We need to talk about Sasuke-san and our friendship. Do you mind taking a short break to talk in your living room? Sakura, I can't. Please, this is important, Sakura pleaded with her former friend. Ino started to look concerned for her friend. Why did she want to talk about Sasuke-kun? She first thought Sakura was going to try to convince her to give up, but she just remembered Sakura addressed Sasuke-kun as Sasuke-san. Sure, come on in. Ino turned the sign on the door to be back in a few, and guided Sakura in the house in her living room and sat down on a cushion at the dining room table. Okay, Spill, what about Sasuke-kun you want to talk about? Sakura signed and prepared for Ino's reaction. Hokage office. Hokage was sitting in battling his worst enemy, paperwork, wishing to do away with it or at least hoping for a brief distraction. Unfortunately for him, he got his wish in the form of an overdue visitor, because Tsunade slammed the doors open with what to be hope in her eyes, breathing hard as she just ran a mile. Is it true? Is my grandson alive? Chapter 6. Anime Harem here. I'm glad a lot of y'all enjoying my story. To all the Sakura haters, she's in the harem, get over it. In the anime she sucks, that's why I'm changing her. To the comment concerning adding too many girls. There will be a lot, but it won't ruin the story. And one last note, no one is in love with Naruto, it's a crush. The Sakura kiss scene was my brother doing. I was originally about to change, but I decided to see where it goes. Harem, Enko, Yugao, Sakura, Ino, Tenten, Tamari, Hinata, Shizune Yugito, Samui, Kurosuchi and Fu. Undecided. Kin, Tayuya, Mei, Ayame, Kurenai, Conan. Also, I'm working on a Naruto fanfic, where he has two sisters, all three are triplets. I was motivated for this story when I read one. Well, Naruto had a twin sister but made her off, and Naruto was the same. Hiruzen was shocked at the sudden appearance of his student. And what did she mean to her grandson? Hello Tsunade Haim, it's good to see that you are well, but what do you mean your grandson? Tsunade eyes widen a bit and sign as she pinches her temples. Kami, have mercy on that pervert, I guess he didn't tell you. Tsunade took a seat in front of her sensei. I'm sure you are aware of Minato being Jiraiya's son. I am. From what I learned, Minato was an orphan before Jiraiya came along and adopted him. That's not necessarily the case. Jiraiya didn't adopt him, he is his actual father. Tsunade stated, gauging his reaction. And as she thought, he took it as a surprise considering his pipe fell out of his mouth. And that's not all. What else could there be? And who's Minato's mother? Hiruzen asked. Tsunade was quiet for a moment before mumbling something. Do you care to repeat that? It's me, Tsunade answered. I'm his mother. After Dan's death, I left the village, as you know. One night Jiraiya found me and we played a game of poker and we each made a bet. If I win, he would pay off one of my debts, and if he won, I'd go on a date with him. As you know, he won, and we went to a bar and had a few drinks. That's when things got dangerous. We ended up at a hotel and then the rest is history. Hiruzen nodded. Why didn't you return with Minato, and how come no one knew? Because of Minato-kun. I told him about his family and the village. He was excited and wanted to become a shinobi for the village. He knew of my disdain and told me to come when I'm ready. Funny, right? I'm his mother and he was concerned for me and my image. He kept his status a secret, that way he wouldn't be forced in the CRA, and for my image, that way no one would think I would abandon him. But, her fist clenched in anger as she gritted her teeth. When Jiraiya told me about Kushina being pregnant, I was ready to return, and when I did, I was surprised to see he was marrying a Uzumaki. So I decided to wait to let the village know about Minato until his baby was born. I understand, so why did you think Naruto-kun was dead? Hiruzen asked. Because the elders and Danzo told me they were killed by the fox. When I returned from the search for the snake tem, the fox was already sealed. I went towards Minato-kun house and Danzo was there with the two old bats. He told me Minato and his family were killed, so I left with Shizune and never came back. Tsunade finished, leaking some key along with Hiruzen. I should have known. Ever since he was young, Naruto was targeted by the corrupted Warhawk to become his personnel weapon. He even gained control of the civilian council with the help of my former teammates. I swear I'm getting too old for this shit. Well, how was his life here in the village? He was the son of Minato-kun, so I hope he wasn't spoiled. Tsunade asked eagerly. Hiruzen started to sweat a bit. Well, you see. Yamanaka's residence. Ino was staring across her dining room table at Sakura after Sakura informed her about her mission with her team. The platinum blonde couldn't believe that her Sasuke would use Sakura as a sacrifice, and to make things more surprising, Naruto, the former dead last, jumped in front of the Pinkett and took a hit. Ino, I know how you're feeling right now, but I think you should give up on Sasuke. But what about marrying him? He's the best. He was the best, but not anymore. He lost multiple fights since we were put on a team. On the wave mission, he fought an ice user and lost, but Naruto beat him. He fought Naruto in a spar with his Sharingan but lost. And lastly, the new Kenin who attacked me was beaten by Naruto, the same one that beat Sasuke. Sakura said, drinking some tea. Ino was amazed. She always believed that Sasuke was the ace of Team 7, but it seems Naruto was stronger and she didn't want to admit it, but she found it romantic that Naruto took a hit for Sakura. Like a knight for her princess. I guess we were wrong about the two of them. Sakura nodded. We are more than that. Ino stared at Sakura confusingly. We were bitches. We worshipped Sasuke so much, we treated everyone else like crap. We did because he's a Uchiha and he was an orphan. But so was Naruto, but he was ignored and bullied by everyone including us. But that was his fault. He was annoying and always pulled pranks. Ino argued. Sakura shook her head. Be that as it may, if I think about it, Naruto-kun might be the perfect guy for me. Also, I think I know why he was pulling pranks, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't just for enjoyment. During the wave mission, I found out a little about Naruto's past and it was pretty bad. Well, how bad was it? Well, we learned from Kakashi-sensei while he was in the orphanage. He was isolated from the other kids. They had him sleep in the basement, barely feed him and kept his room cold. But things changed when he turned 6 years old. Ino breathed in relief. Things changed for the better, I assume. After all, how could someone with a bad past always be happy? Sakura shook his head. No, it gets worse. Ino was about to ask, until Sakura halted her. He was kicked out when he was 6 and was digging through garbage to find his next meal. Ino held a hand over her mouth as gasp. But there's more. He used to sleep in dark alleys and in sewers. Sakura said with tears in her eyes, picturing a little Naruto shivering in the cold. Ino started to get worried. Okay, I get it. It was bad. Now please stop. No, Sakura yelled, startling Ino. Just listen, please. Ino nodded. After he was kicked and went through all that, the villagers started hunting down. They beat him and he had no one to comfort him beside the ramen people. Sakura had tears pouring down her face, which confused the platinum blonde. Ino was upset at the villagers, but what accused her was how Sakura was handling it. Why was she so affected by this? Why does this upset you? There's nothing you could have done. Sakura stopped sobbing and glared at the blonde, but not in anger. It was guilt. You know why this upsets me? Because we added to his pain. Ino's eyes widened. He was called a demon by the villagers, and in the academy we made fun of him when he wanted friends. And what's worse, my mom wanted me to be friends with him, but I followed the crowd because I didn't want to be made fun of. Ino was now sobbing at the guilt she was feeling. But he was annoying, and was an idiot. Ino tried to defend. Remember all those pranks? I do, and you know what else I remember? Naruto-kun never pranked us. He never did anything to us. So why was I so bothered by it? For Kami's sake, we treated Kiba better than Naruto. Kiba, who I remind you is a pervert and looks down on women. Ino started to rub her eyes, trying to wipe away the tears. Kakashi told me the only reason he pranks people is for attention. He didn't like being ignored and glared at, so by pranking, he was looked at as an annoying kid. Ino finished. Ino never thought about it before. Naruto never targeted kids for his pranks, only adults, and now hearing this, they probably deserved it. And now that she noticed it, whenever she saw him smile, it seemed forced, but she never thought of it because she never cared for her fellow blonde, because she always focused on the Uchiha. But after hearing about the incident, she started to look at both Team 7 boys in different ways. She always dreams about getting married one day to a knight in shining armor, and she assumed Sasuke was the one to fit the description. Now, after hearing about the emo, she was having second thoughts about pursuing any relationship with him. He's amazing. Regardless of how the village treats him, he still wants to be Hokage and protect the village. I wish I could also be strong like him. Sakura blushed before continuing. I think I'm going to give Naruto-kun a chance. He proved to me how much he cares about me. Sakura announced. Even though he said he will never pursue me again, he didn't say his feelings were gone. Hold up, forehead, not so fast. Ino interjects. Why do you get to have Naruto? What if I want him? Sakura gasps in surprise before glaring at her old friend. And why would you want him, Ino pig? You hardly know him, Sakura yelled. Why wouldn't I? After everything you said, I would be stupid not go for him. Should I remind you? You said he's kind-hearted, strong, dedicated, and practically a knight. He jumped in front of an attack to save you. That's so romantic. I may not know him much, but from what you told me, he has the quality of a good man. I just get to know him better and show him my good side. He shouldn't be able to resist my charm, especially since I'm way more beautiful than you are. Ino said with confidence. Fat chance pig, Naruto-kun will be mine. After all, we already kiss. Ino was surprised but quickly hid it. Well, I guess I have to give an even better one. Like I let you. Sakura and Ino continue you back and forth, but they would never admit they were enjoying each other's company. Council room. The Shinobi clan head and the civilian council received word of a meeting of great importance and was waiting for their leader. But soon the wait was over, when the doors opened revealing the Hokage. The clan heads did a slight bow towards as a show of respect, and Mebuki was the only one to bow on the civilian side. I'm glad everyone is here. Now let's begin this meeting. Hiruzen started with a slight chuckle. What is this meeting about, Hiruzen? Danzo questioned. It's funny you should ask. You see, it actually involves you. Danzo was confused. Has his root headquarters been found out? He doubts that. He was sure he wasn't missing an agent. You can come in now, Hiruzen called, breaking Danzo from his thoughts. Everybody turned to the figure behind them and saw none other than Tsunade Senju walk in with a smile. Danzo flinched a bit at the glare the Sannin was giving him to keep, but kept his stoic look. Tsunade-sama, it's an honor to have you back in our village. Kaharu started. Cut the shit, I'm not here for the village, Tsunade said, still glaring at the bandage man and shifting it towards the elders. I've got questions that need answers. Danzo, Tsunade narrowed eyes. Why did you tell me that a Kushina child was killed? Tsu's eyes widened. Kushina's pup is still alive. Where? The Inuzuka asked but was ignored. Isn't it obvious? It is the property of the leaf. It should be made into the perfect. Danzo didn't get finished because Tsunade grabbed the throat, releasing a bunch of ki. Do not call my grandson it, and how dare you say he's your property? Especially after how you treated him, I should kill you now. Tsunade cocked back her fist. Lady Tsunade, please calm. Homaru tried to plead before Tsunade glared at him. You're next, and you too, Kaharu, Tsunade yelled, causing the advisors to flinch in fear. Is Neko here? An Anbu with a cat mask appeared in front of the slug princess. Yes, Lady Tsunade. I heard from the pervert you protect my grandson, for that you have my eternal gratitude. Tsunade thanked with a smile on her face. If you ever need anything, just ask. I would have protected him even if I wasn't asked to. This village owes them that much. And plus I kinda grew attached to him, Neko replied with a slight blush behind her mask. Excuse me, Lady Tsunade, but if the pup is alive, who is here? I was told he didn't make it, Tsume asked in desperation. Neko, may you find him and bring here, please, Tsunade requested. Hi, Neko bowed before disappearing in a shunshin away. Will you just tell me who it is? Tsume begged. Tsunade rubbed her temples and approached the woman and whispered in her ear. Tsume's eyes widened and glared at the civilian side of the council, making them shiver. I'm going to make you bastards pay. She then turned her glare towards Danzo. Especially you, you old prick. You better show respect to your better Suma-san, Danzo said in a calm manner. The only thing you deserve is the shit from my hound's yard, Sum retorted. You heartless. She was cut off when the doors opened, revealing Neko walking in, and what was strange, she was chuckling. I'm sorry, haha, he's on his way, Neko struggled to say because of her chuckling. Soon Naruto walked in with his jacket unzipped and lipstick all over his face, with a goofy grin on his gave the boy a questionable look and turned to Neko for answers, but she was cut off. What's the demon doing at an important meeting? A merchant councilman began before he was grabbed from the throat by Tsunade. Sum smiled deviously. Watch what you call my grandson. Everyone's eyes widened, while the civilian side was shaking in fear, remembering everything they did to the boy. And if I remember, isn't there a law about that word? Neko. Tsunade called the man towards the Anbu as Neko unsheathed her sword and cut the man's neck off. Hiruzen looked at Tsunade in concern. Tsunade noticed and smirked. I got over my fear, sensei. Hiruzen nodded and turned to Naruto, who was still in a daze. Neko, what's the matter with the boy? Neko started to laugh. Enko, sir, Hiruzen quirked an eyebrow. Apparently those two are a thing. All the males beside Danzo looked at Naruto in amazement. Naruto soon snapped out his gaze and realized he was in the council room. He was about to ask why he was here when he was suddenly swooped up by his feet in a huge hug. Naruto-kun, you're alive, I can't believe you are alive. Naruto was suffocating, gasping for air. Of course I am, who are you, lady? Tsunade sat him down and wiped a stray tear. Sorry, I was happy to see you. Why? Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tsunade Senju, one of the Sanin, but most importantly. She bent down and kissed his forehead, making him blush. I'm your grandmother. Tsunade Senju, as in the granddaughter of the... Naruto paused and registered what he heard. Wait, did you just say? I'm your grandmother. Tsunade smiled. Naruto started to shake. Why? Tsunade gave him a confused look. Why weren't you here for me? Did you hate me like everyone else? No, Tsunade answered with tears of her own coming out. I would have been here for but... She started releasing ki, startling everyone. I was told by some soon-to-be-dead fools that you perished the night of the attack. She stopped the ki and gave Naruto a soft hug, which he returned. I love you. Naruto was crying in the crick in her neck, very happy. Everyone gave them a moment before both the blondes calmed down. Wow, I can't believe I have family and it's a Senju. The shinobi clan heads, Hokage, Mebuki and Tsunade all smiled at the boy, happy for him. There's no way those two are related. Tsunade is a princess and the boy is nothing but garbage, another council said, making the rest nod in agreement. He must have hypnotized her. Kid, show them, Kuruma suggested. Naruto smiled at the idea even though he wanted to keep it a secret. If I'm not a Senju, how can I do this? Mokuden. Moku Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto said, making a wood clone of himself, receiving gasp in return. You have Ji-chan bloodline? Tsunade asked in shock. That's right, Ba-chan, which reminds me. Naruto turned to face the Hokage. I would like to be in the CRA. Naruto shocked everyone. I agree, it'll bring great strength to the leaf to revive the Mokuden, Senju and Uzumaki clan. Danzo said. Well, I don't. We shouldn't have any more demon spawns running around. The stupid councilman started before he was beheaded by Neko. Hiruzen looked at Naruto and nodded for him to continue. But there is a condition. Everyone waited for Naruto's condition in suspense and grew nervous when he started to chuckle. You can come in now, Naruto called. Enko walked in with a huge sinister grin, matching Naruto's. Enko-chan have to approve of them. Hello Shinobi Council, Enko greeted with a bow, then the Civilian Council. Your Royal Assness. Why should the snake whore have the honor of such an important task, Uzumaki-sama? Another random councilman asked. Enko was about to jump up and torture the victim, but Naruto grabbed her hand and gave her a warm smile. For one, I don't want anyone trying to gain power using my clan status, the civilians grumble a bit. And two, Naruto pulled Enko by her arms and gave her a deep kiss, surprising everyone. Enko got over her shocked mood and returned the kiss by wrapping her arms around his neck. Naruto wrapped his arms around her waist, earning an extra moan from the snake mistress. Some of the men were impressed with the blonde, while Tsunade gave a questionable gaze. After 30 seconds of making out, they broke apart for air and Enko gave Naruto a seductive smile. Didn't know you were an exhibitionist. Enko then turned her head towards the council. Now listen up. I don't want no pansy girl trying to bed my Naruto-kun for his status, or my snakes will have a full course meal. So no fangirls nor loveless relationship, Enko declared, receiving nods of approval from the shinobi and glares from the civilians. Tsunade smirked and couldn't agree more. She was going to suggest the same thing, but the fact Enko suggested it was enough to earn some points in her book. Do we agree on Naruto being listed in the CRA? Everyone nodded, even the demon haters. Then it's decided Naruto Uzumaki will take part of the CRA, dismissed.